Okay, so this video is gonna be about work tour this year, which was another year where I went to two shows. So it was August 7th in Portland and then August 8th in Seattle. And August 7th was the most productive. I don't know why. Portland was more productive, but it was. I got to meet more people. I got to see more people. It was just overall a more productive work tour than Washington, which is totally fine. So I went to, well, first things first, we got there, I want to say like 9-ish. Went in about 11, 10:45-ish. We went and saw, me and my friend, we went and saw Palisades. Well, firstly, before we went and saw anybody, we went and got our little passes to meet people at the AP signing, which I cannot wait to tell you guys about. And it was the signing with, like, the cover artists or whatever. And then we also went to see if, like, Set It Off needed anything to meet them, but they didn't. Pierce Vale's thing was sold out, so we were just like, fuck it, we have Washington for that. Well, so we did all that, and then we went and saw Palisades to kill some time. Then we went and got some water, kind of walked around a little bit, and then she went to go watch bands, I can't remember who, but her and I separated. I went to the YouTube signing thingamajig, and you didn't need anything for that. Actually, I don't remember. I think you had to buy something. I don't fucking remember. No, it was free for all, but that's where it kind of became a bitch because they only signed for like an hour or some odd. And until once that hour or so was up, they would stop taking people or whatever. Well, I got there like an hour early and there was already a shit ton of people, so I'm freaking out like, oh my god, what if I don't have time? And like they wouldn't let you sign stuff, but I was fine because I wasn't even prepared for that. Well, I luckily got up there in time and like Johnny was first, and he was just like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just warm. And he's like, yeah, aren't we all? And we take our pictures and continue on. Well, then I go to Brian Stars, and like, he's the only one out of the four, this sounds awful, at that point in time he was the only one that I really knew anything about. Like, I knew who they all were, and kind of what their basis was on YouTube, but I didn't really ever watch any of them except for him. And, he was like, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. And he's like, well, that's good. And I go and give him my phone. He's like, you want a selfie? I'm like, no shit, Brian. It's the selfie tent for a reason. And he's like, right, I'm sorry. I'm really tired. I'm out of it. And I'm like, it's okay. It's the heat getting to us all. And we take the pictures. And I go, and you know what? Be honest right now. Not to offend anybody else in this tent, but you're the only one I've ever actually watched, and you're the main reason I came to this signing, or this, whatever you want to call it. And he was just like, really? Like, I don't know, I couldn't believe how excited he got. I wasn't obviously trying to, like, make a big deal of it. I was just like, yeah, no big deal. You're the only one I really came for. And he was so excited about it, I was just like, oh, okay. Well, then he was like, what's my favorite interview well, what's your favorite interview I've done? And I'm like, well, interviews, but all-time low ones. And I only say that because they're my favorite band, and so I like watching interviews of them and stuff. And I'm like, no, granted, I haven't watched them in a while, but you need to, like, do another video with them. And he's like, I agree. I haven't gotten a hold of them yet. I've been trying, but he's like, as soon as I get a hold of them, there will be a new one. And I was just like, oh, good to know. I'm like, I see them in a month. Maybe I can put in a good word. And he was just like, really, you would do that? And I'm like, well, maybe. I'm like, it depends if I see them or like meet them or not. He's like, oh my god, thank you. And he was super ecstatic about it, which was kind of funny. But anyway, so I continued on to Johnny, and I honestly didn't really say much to him at all. I just walked up, said hi, and he was just like, hi. And I was wearing my Set It Off necklace at the time. And he's like, oh my god, I love your necklace. And like, yeah, I just love your necklace. And I think I was wearing, like, no, I wasn't. I don't even remember what the fuck I was wearing. That's bad. I want to say he complimented on something else. I don't remember what, though. That's the funny thing. Maybe if I look at my photos I'll remember, because I swear to God he made a comment about something else, and that's what's going to drive me nuts. But I know for a fact he commented on the Set It Off thing, like, on the, yeah, because he was just like, I love Set It Off, I love that. And you know what I think it might have been? I think it was my tattoo, because I swear he commented about All Time Low. And, like, I wasn't wearing any All Time Low that night or anything, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, yeah, me too, kind of thing. And then I went to Damon, and he's the only one I've actually given any attention since that signing, because he was, like, he was so funny and hyper, and it just made me, like, happy, and I'm like, holy shit, I love this guy. Like, everyone listen to him, but I love this guy. We took our pictures. I complimented him on his gauges or whatever. And he was like, of course, Pokeball gauges for days. I lost them for a long while, and it took me forever to find them, and I was so happy when I found them. And yeah, and then we took our pictures. And then we were actually, I think he was intending on taking more than what he did take. But about 4 pictures in, he flicked his hair. And when he flicked his hair, his whole head went, and it hit me right in the forehead. And so he was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. And he wouldn't stop hugging me. And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, that was the softest headbutt I have ever had. You're fine. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, it's good to know. Oh my God, I'm sorry. And he couldn't stop. And I just couldn't stop laughing. But at that point, they started forcing me to hurry up. So I went on. Well, then through the rest of the day, I think after that, I went and saw Memphis Mayfire. Yeah. Then I went and saw Pierce the Veil. Got Barricade for Pierce the Veil somehow without even trying. Best show ever. Oh my God, it was amazing. They did so good, and having front row made it that much better. Especially worked her. Like, it was great. And after them, we hurried to catch the second half of Set It Off. And they did amazing also on that second half. And what was awesome was, like, me and my friend, we ran up, and, like, Cody somehow remembered the both of us I don't even know how. I honestly don't. Because we saw them back in March, met them, told them we were going to see them on Warped Tour, and they were super ecstatic about it. And, like, we were at the show, ran up, Cody saw us, got excited. It was amazing. Anywho, they ended. I think their signing was immediately afterwards, I want to say. Something like that. So we went to their signing, talked to them, told them, like, oh, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And they were like, oh my God, you guys are the best. And then after them, I honestly don't remember much of what happened. I feel like... Oh, I went and saw Black Veil Brides after their signing. And then... Which they did great. Oh my God, I forgot a part. That's what it was that I forgot. I knew I was forgetting something, but I'll go back to that because it was a great moment. After Black Veil Brides, I met up with my friends, or my friend, went and saw Amity Affliction, our last night, and Mallory Knox. Well, then after they were done, we walked over, met Mallory Knox at their tent. It was really quick, super cute. People, like, the way they talked, they were just like, hello, darling, love, and shit. They basically all said the same thing. One of them, I was like, oh, you know, I'm just burnt. And they're like, oh, that's no good. And I'm just like, okay. So, yeah, then we met them, and you know, after that, we left. But the part that I forgot was the AP part after the YouTube things. That was almost immediately afterwards. So I ran straight from the YouTube thing to the AP thingy. And, like, what was funny was during the YouTube thing, I was completely calm about all of them. But during that, I was, like, also freaking the fuck out. Because I knew I was about to go meet those AP people. And Mike from Pierce the Veil was one of them. And I was, like, losing my shit because I've been trying to meet Pierce the Veil for, like, years. And that was my first time ever really meeting any of them. So, like, we get up to the AP thingy-majig with my friend. And, so, shit, I can't even remember what I was going to say. So, firstly, it was Lynn from Paris, and she was just kind of like, hey, and I'm like, hey, and then she handed it over to Mike, and that was when I lost my cool. Because with him, I was just like, hey, he's like, hey, and he's like, how are you? And I kind of couldn't talk. I just had this big old grin on my face, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, unfortunately, I'm too okay. I am so happy with, like, right now, I don't even have any words. I'm like, don't call me stupid. Sorry, I have no words. And he is like, oh, well, why is that? And I go, well, see, the thing is, I have been listening to you guys for almost 4 years. And in that 4 years, I have tried to meet you guys every single time you've been here. And every time I try, nothing works out. It's like, it usually sells out every time I go to buy them. And like, it's not like I wait a while and then go buy them. It's like, I always go right away. And then they're sold out by the time I get like on the thing. And he was just like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, and I go, well, yeah, this is finally my first time meeting any of you. And he was just like, well, what's your name? And I go, well, and I'm just like, Megan, obviously. And he's like, well, be happy because we did it. And I got so flustered. I'm like, yeah. I didn't know what to say. And I just was like, okay, I need to walk away before I lose my shit. And Cody was next. I actually like on my tongue. Driving me nuts. Cody from Set It Off. And like, he had seen us like only a couple times prior to that. But like, he remembered, which at that point in time I didn't know he remembered. Which is what brought me to the fact that he remembered us during their set, was because right during that signing he saw our necklaces and he's like, yes! And I'm like, what? And he's like, the necklace, I love those. And I looked at him like, oh yeah, I forgot I was wearing that. You remember these? And he's like, oh fuck yeah, I do. She made them, right? And he points at my friend and I'm like, yeah. It was just like, he's like, I'm so happy to see you too. And then he gave us a high five and then I walked on. Couldn't get over that either. Then I saw Ashley from New Year's Day. She was super sweet. Caleb from Beartooth didn't say anything. He was just kind of staring at us all like, okay, he honestly looked like he didn't want to fucking be there. I wouldn't even blame him though, to be honest. And then after him, it was Andy from Blackville Bars, who I completely forgot was going to be at the signing. Like, so I wasn't even prepared until I walked up and saw him sitting there. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, shit. I started freaking out. And so I walk up to him. Now keep him, like, he didn't say anything other than like, thank you. But he signed the thing, handed it to me, he said thank you. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, I can die happy. I had too many things happen in this signing and I'm going to explode. Like, I became a huge fangirl after that whole Andy thing. It was bad. Like, oh my god, no, thank you kind of thing. And then like the whole Cody thing and then the mic thing. I walked away and I just started bawling my eyes out. I'm like, this just happened. And like, my friend's like, are you going to be okay? And I'm like, I don't know. And still to this day, every time I talk about it, I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm going to die. So that was day one. And then like day two, not much really happened. I was with my sister. We walked in there. We talked to the people about Set It Off signing. Didn't have to do anything. Then we went and Pierce Avails was sold out, of course. So I was super pissed about that because I didn't get to meet them like I wanted to. Which only proves my point about what I was talking about with Mike. Then I walked over to see if Blackwell Brides was having a signing, and sure enough, they were, but it was sold out. I was just like, motherfucker. And then my sister, she's like 14, so we went to see Metro Station, and they actually did really good. They played a lot of old stuff, which was surprising to me. I couldn't believe it. And then, fuck, what happened after that? We walked around for a little bit. I went and watched New Beat Fun. My sister's like, these people are weird, and I'm like, you're weird. Like, she's a little young to understand their, sorry, my face is really warm. She's like too young to understand like their references and stuff. Well, then after that, we walked around a little bit more. Bought shit. Then we went and sat down for a while and watched a bunch of people, like, while we were waiting for time to fly. And in that time, we saw Mod's Son, Hands Like Houses, and somebody else, but I can't remember who. And then after that, we got up, walked around for a little bit, went to the, what was it called? The charging station tent. I can't remember what it's called, but we went to that. Sat there for a while. We were charging our phones, and, like, Nick Major walks in from Alt Press, and he's hanging out, doing a bunch of Snapchats or whatever. And this chick that was running the tent, I can't remember what it was called, I can't remember her name, was like, God, Nick, you're so lame. And he's like, why am I lame? And she goes, you're sitting here around a bunch of cool people, and you're on your fucking Snapchat. And he's like, so? And she's like, I bet $100 you're making a Snapchat story right now. And he's like, no, I'm not, actually. He's like, but that reminds me to make one. And she's like, oh, for the love of fuck. So then he starts making it. And he's like, hey, I'm at this tent with, this person and this person, my homie or whatever. And these two amazing people. And he turns the camera over, it's me and my sister. And I was just like, what? And I'm, like, texting my friend because she's, like, madly in love with him. I'm like, hey, so guess what? And she was just like, I'm on my way kind of thing. It was super funny. So, finished talking to him after a while. And then we went to the Set It Off signing. Walked up and met them and everything. And, like, my sister didn't have anything to say. Like, that was the only reason she came, was for Set It Off. And she said nothing. They were trying to talk to her, and she's just like, yeah. Because even, like, Dana was like, what's your name? She's like, Sierra. He's like, well, nice to meet you, Sierra. And she's like, okay. And, like, Cody started talking to her and asking how she was and how, if she was excited to go back to school and shit. And she's just like, no. It was amazing. I'm like, fucking Christ, Sierra. They're chill. Just talk to them. She's like, I don't want to. I'm like, is it because they're Set It Off? She's like, no, it's because there's people I've never met. And I'm like, uh-huh. Bullshit. Well then, I was talking to them. I was just, they're like, oh, you were here yesterday, weren't you? And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I was. I told you I was coming back. And they were just like, oh yeah, sure. And then I'm like, well, guess what? I'll see you guys in Canada too. And every single one of them were super stoked about that. They're like, are you gonna, follow us for the rest of your life? I'm like, probably. And they're like, that's cool, whatever. Well, yeah, so that whole thing happened, and then we ran over to Pierce the Veil set, got about halfway up there, got stuck right in barricade area, and that shit sucked. Had to get my sister out because she got crushed, and that was pretty fucking terrible. Then their entire set, I was just so, mesmerized again. I don't know why, that's just what happens when they come out for some reason. And then, Black Foot Brides was immediately afterwards. Oh no. August Burns Red was. And then there was Paris on the stage that Pierce Veil was on, and then Black Foot Brides. Well, we walked over, we ran to the other stage to get a spot. Got our spot for Black Foot Brides. Got about second row, which was amazing. I'm super ecstatic. My sister's just like, whatever, I don't even care. Black Foot Brides are cool, I guess, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? So then we're watching them, and all of a sudden, halfway through the set, I look over at her, and she's completely gone. I just look at her. Now, she was, not, in a bad way gone, but she was, definitely in her own little zone, and I'm like, you okay? And she's like, she goes, uh-huh, and I'm like, singer too hot for you? And she's like, uh-huh. Oh my God, because I warned her ahead of time. I'm like, just keep in mind, he might be too hot for you to handle. And she's like, Megan, you say that about everybody. I was like, I'm serious though. Warning. And these girls around me are like, has she never seen them before? I'm like, no. They're like, have fun with that. So after that whole thing, she ended up being a huge fan of them now. And I'm just like, nice. And she's in love with Andy now. And I'm like, nice. Way to go. So then after their set, we ran over to the one stage, I can't remember what it was called, but we wanted to catch Set It Off, who were actually playing last that night, which was amazingly, it was just the best thing ever. So, Neck Deep was on when we got over there, watched Neck Deep, got up to the barricade where my friend was. On the opposite side was As It Is, so we got to listen to them. Then when they were done, Set It Off came on. They did amazing. That entire fucking venue was filled because it was like an amphitheater. And since they were the last ones to play, we figured, oh, a bunch of people aren't going to be here. It's going to be this small crowd. Fuck no. Like, I looked back, and that entire amphitheater was full. And, like, the grass was full, and everything was full. It was ridiculous. I was like, holy shit. Proud. I am proud. And so, yeah, so that whole thing happened. They ended, and we went on our merry way, left, got food. And, yeah, that was the end of it. It was a great Warped Tour. I can't wait for next year's Warped Tour to see if it's any good. Yeah, my next video should be, if I think correctly, August. It'll be my 2 all-time low ones. Or no, I lied. It'll be my Canada Future Hearts tour because I met Cody from Set It Off. So yeah, that one should be like a nice cement, not too long, not too short. And yeah, I'll see you guys in that video.